Well, hey guys, Jonathan Doyle with you once again. Welcome to our humble little studio. Karen's beautiful backdrop here. Hope you like it. Welcome aboard. Please make sure you've subscribed. Hit the subscribe button just here. Would make a big difference. The channel's growing. It's great to be reaching more people every day. So please hit that subscribe button and check out the description notes here. You can get a free copy of my book, Bridging the Gap. You can book me to speak. You can get the podcast version. It's all there in the description notes. So do that for me. Today, 3 quick things. 1, yesterday, I took the family to see this movie called The Phantom of the Open. Go check it out. If it's still in cinemas, it's worth seeing. It's a true story. It's beautifully acted, and it's quite moving in parts. Hollywood confuses me. 1 minute it's death, chaos, murder, and Satanism, and then it's like, really beautiful films which are a testament to marriage and family. So go figure. But go check that movie out, The Phantom of the Open. It's a really interesting film. It just talks about this one guy who just decides to do something really remarkable with his life. It's funny, it's poignant, it's a great film, so go check it out. What else? Adaption. In the podcast version below here, I go into depth about adaption. Many of you would know that I do a lot of rucking. I do a ridiculous amount of training in general. But I've got into rucking more lately. Heavy pack, like it's a company out of the US that makes equipment for special forces. You have this special pack, and you just chuck heaps of weight in it, like literally weight plates. Yesterday, I added a ridiculous new amount of weight. So I've been doing a lot lately, and my body's adapted pretty well to it. So yesterday, I added like another almost 20 pounds. So I guess about 10 kilos extra, which kind of doesn't sound like a lot until I was pushing, I guess, around about 40 kilos in there yesterday. So about 80 pounds or a bit more, about 90 pounds. It's really heavy. And where we live, there's these 2 big hills, like super steep, like really heavy gradient. Yesterday was really tough. And I was thinking of you guys, and I just thought I wanted to keep reminding you of just how amazing our bodies are. The capacity for adaptation. Like, I'm 48. I do a huge amount of training, and I'm just like, it amazes me how the body adapts. And Karen's always like, you'll hurt yourself, you'll hurt your back, do less, why are you doing this? Because it's awesome, and because our bodies adapt, and we get more energy, and we get more alive, and we feel strong. So I just want to encourage you, like, if you're fit, get fitter. If you're not fit at all, start walking to the letterbox, like all of us. I just want to keep hammering this point because, you see so many people who just end up really unwell. Like, our modern world encourages low energy states. It encourages consumption so that we end up often sick because of what we eat or don't do. So this is not a lecture. I know some of you will be looking at me going, okay, we get it, enough. We don't want to talk about this anymore. But I'm telling you this because I believe in it, because I've seen it work in my own life. I've often talked about my father, who was incredibly overweight. He's been dead now for, sort of 11 and 12 years. And just watching him, like, suffer in his life, both with mental health and, physical health. And I wonder how much they were related. So no judgment of him. He had a very difficult story, a very difficult background. But I've been really affected by it. And I think part of what drives me is having lived with that. And I just want to, encourage people to think about it. Okay. Today I'm going to give you a quote from David Foster Wallace. David Foster Wallace was an American writer, brilliant writer, tragically took his own life a few years ago. We lost him very young. It was a great tragedy, but quite a brilliant writer, and just had this beautiful insight into reality, into the world. And I want to share this quote with you today. It's a really good one from David Foster Wallace. Let's do it now. Learning how to think really means learning how to exercise some control over how and what you think. It means being conscious and aware enough to choose what you pay attention to, and to choose how you construct meaning from experience. Because if you cannot or will not exercise this kind of choice in adult life, you will be totally hosed. Okay, so I'm going to hit the high points here. I go deeper in the podcast version if you want to hit that link. This goes to the heart of something that's really revolutionized a lot of my life. It's the simple concept that for much of my life, I would say about 30 years, I always assumed that whatever my brain was serving up was reality. So when I struggled with depression or struggled with anxiety, I was like, this is real. This is what's happening. My thoughts are telling me this, so this is real. And one of the huge breakthroughs came for me when I gave up on the kind of psychological therapeutic model and just started to realize how responsible I was for my own outcomes and my own cognition. So I began to really pay attention to what I was thinking, and that's the essence of his quote here today. He says that we need to pay attention. We need to get really good at what we give our attention to. So if you give your attention to everything that is wrong with the world, if you give your attention to every part of your life that is not working, if you give your attention to every person you don't like who says things you don't want to hear that are unpleasant, then it begins to shape our sense of reality. I like also in this how he talks about constructing meaning from experience. You see, we are having experience all the time, right? We are experiencing beings. Whether those experiences are objectively positive or negative is pretty hard sometimes to say. But the subjective meanings that we apply to our experience can be incredibly helpful or incredibly damaging. So the example I give in the podcast is, imagine you're in a relationship and somebody breaks up with you. So that's an objective reality, right? There was a relationship that now no longer exists. That's objectively true. What happens next is how you apply consciousness to that. So you can apply a meaning that says, they dumped me because I'm a loser. They dumped me because I'm ugly. They dumped me because I'll never be with anyone again. I'm going to be eating cat food and I'm going to be a crazy cat person. No offense to cat lovers. Another meaning is honor your grief, honor your sadness, feel your feelings, and then begin to say, well, what else could this mean? Where you go, well, obviously it means that we're not really meant to be together because I can't control another person. You can't make someone love you. So you have to accept some powerlessness in the face of reality itself, which I think is a really good thing for all of us. You have to accept another meaning, which maybe the meaning is, well, I'm glad this has ended because it's going to put me one step closer to finding the kind of person that I'm going to have an amazing relationship with. I know some of you will think that's a bit Pollyanna-ish. That's a bit, oh yeah, really? Did we really do that? And I go, no, we don't really do that. It's exactly the point of this video, is that most of the time we apply disempowering meanings to things, and that makes us feel miserable. So he's telling us in this quote today that we must begin to apply intention and focus to consciousness itself. And I say in the podcast, think of the raw inputs of consciousness that you face every single day. There would be billions of inputs from, think of how consciousness comes into your mind, or how reality enters your consciousness. You're experiencing your sense of your body in space and time. You're experiencing temperature. You're experiencing visual things that you see. You're hearing things. If you go for a drive in your car, think of all the inputs, right? Other traffic, weather patterns, traffic lights. My point here is that there are, who knows, millions, maybe billions of sensory inputs coming into your world every single day. We have got really good as a species at filtering out large parts of it and paying attention to a very small subset of all possible inputs. So we're actually kind of good at this already, right? Because if we weren't, our brains would just explode. We'd be overwhelmed by sort of reality and consciousness itself. This is getting deep, isn't it? What I'm trying to simply say is we can choose where we place attention, the attention point of our consciousness, on things that will help us to grow, things that will help us to develop, things that will be a blessing to ourselves and others. So simple message, get really good at paying attention to your thinking. Get really good at it. What am I thinking? Is it true? Is it helpful? Is it based in reality? What other meaning could there be? And as you begin to get good at this, you begin to experience different feeling states over time. You stop being a victim of reality. Like, that's the thing. You stop being a victim. You stop being a victim to disempowering meanings. You become more of a protagonist, an actor, a dramatis personae in your own life. That you show up more in your own life as the actual actor, as the player, as the person who is living the life and is choosing what they want life to mean at different moments. It's a lot in that. All right, that's it from me today. Please make sure you're subscribed. Go check out all these show notes. Book me to speak. It's all there. Check the podcast version. But summary, go check out that movie, The Phantom of the Open. Remember that your body is highly adaptable and that you can adapt as you start to do more. And finally, pay attention to your thinking. Pay deep attention to it. critique it, move it in the directions you want it to go. God bless you, everybody. My name's Jonathan Doyle. This has been the Daily Message, and you and I are going to talk again tomorrow.